Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into your architectural blueprint for ITAI 4160 and 5160, Databases and Cloud for AI. If you're joining us for the fall 2026 semester, you are in for an incredible ride. We're going to unpack exactly how you'll learn to build real-world, scalable AI pipelines from scratch. This isn't just a list of rules. It's literally a strategic playbook engineered for your success. To keep things organized, here's our roadmap. We'll start with a welcome to the course, then move into mastering AI data lifecycles, check out your project-driven architecture, go over grading and flexibility policies, and finally, navigate the rules around generative AI. Section 1, welcome to the course. All right, first things first. This is a 15-week in-person class. And since it's a 3-credit-hour course, you should plan to invest about 9 to 12 hours of your time every single week. That breaks down to 3 hours of interactive lectures and about 6 to 9 hours of independent study. So yeah, that means blocking off some weekend time for prep, labs, and project work. Honestly, consistent weekly pacing is going to be your best friend here. Now, here's a detail that might sound minor, but trust me, it will save you hours of 2 a.m. debugging frustration. You have to use Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. Why? Because Safari has a habit of blocking the third-party cookies and cross-site scripts that are absolutely necessary for your course platforms to actually load. So definitely ditch Safari for this coursework and just make sure Chrome or Firefox are fully updated. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering AI Data Lifecycles. Here's the deal. You aren't here just to memorize a bunch of isolated database concepts. Your primary goal is to master the end-to-end AI pipeline. We're talking about the complete lifecycle here, how structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data is acquired, wrangled, and processed. You'll see exactly how cloud computing and data engineering components interlock to create the foundation for deploying really reliable, scalable, intelligent AI systems. To build these systems, you'll be using industry-standard, freely available tools. Canvas is your central hub, but you'll also be heavily using Coursera, AWS Academy, and DataCamp. The best part? There is zero software to purchase. But there is one super strict rule for access. You must access AWS and DataCamp directly through the specialized setup links in your Canvas onboarding modules. If you don't, things just won't sync up. Look, mastering these complex cloud platforms can be intense. So to keep you from getting overwhelmed, the course uses a highly structured active learning pedagogy built on 3 pillars. First, preparation. You tackle the foundational concepts on your own before class. Second, engagement. Class time isn't just you listening to a lecture. It's a highly interactive space for working through advanced paradigms and live blueprints. And finally, application. You immediately reinforce all of that through hands-on post-class labs. That brings us to Section 3, your project-driven architecture. To really bridge the gap between classroom theory and real-world engineering, your weekly labs aren't just random busy work. They are purposefully designed to act as functional prototype demos for your final capstone project. So every time you crush a lab, you've successfully built and tested a vital component for your final system. You are quite literally building your capstone piece by piece all semester long. This philosophy of continuous iteration is absolutely crucial. It ensures you're building your large-scale database and AI pipeline incrementally. By spreading these milestones out week by week, the course explicitly prevents cramming. It dramatically reduces cognitive overload and gives you a safe, low-stakes environment to fail, debug your code, and improve your architecture way before that final deadline hits. All right, on to Section 4, Grading and Flexibility Policies. Grades in this course are not curved. A 90 is an A, an 80 is a B. But the really great thing is that your success is safely distributed across multiple categories. Class prep, quizzes, labs, and the capstone project each carry a perfectly balanced 20% weight, meaning you are relying on 1 or 2 terrifying high-stakes exams to pass. Steady, consistent effort is what actually gets rewarded here. So how does this tie into flexibility? Well, we all know technical debugging is wildly unpredictable. We've all been stuck staring at a single line of code for hours, right? Because of that, you get an automatic 48-hour grace period for eligible assignments, which includes your hands-on labs and project milestones. You can submit up to 2 days late, 0 penalty. But keep in mind, exempt tasks, time-sensitive things like pre-class reading, the final exam, or project presentations do not get this grace period. Those have to be in strictly by the Canvas deadline. And get this, the syllabus builds in a really fantastic safety net to account for illness, unexpected life emergencies, or just, a particularly brutal week. The course automatically drops your 3 lowest lab scores at the end of the semester. It's a massive stress reliever and lets you keep your momentum going even when life throws you a curveball. Finally, Section 5, Navigating Generative AI Rules. Let's talk about a really modern boundary. The approach here is actually incredibly practical. You are actively encouraged to use AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude as an advanced research assistant. You can use them to help explain complex concepts or even draft some code. But there are strict disclosure guidelines you have to follow to avoid academic misconduct. Let's be crystal clear on this absolute hard line. You may never turn in AI-generated code as your own unassisted work, period. You must explicitly declare exactly what parts of your code were generated by AI in your submission comments. You can't just copy-paste and claim you wrote the whole thing. You've got to thoroughly test the output, and you have to cite the tool. Failing to do this is treated directly as plagiarism. So definitely use the tools, just be honest about it. Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture timeline. Over these 15 weeks, your skills are going to stack in a beautifully logical way. You start with Cloud Foundations in weeks 1 through 3. Then you master databases and SQL. By weeks 8 to 10, you're building extract, transform, load pipelines with Spark. Weeks 11 through 14, you dive straight into machine learning and cutting-edge retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, pipelines. And it all comes together in weeks 14 to 16 with your final capstone deployment. So it really all comes down to this. Are you ready to architect your first end-to-end AI application? If the answer is yes, it's time to log into Canvas, knock out that onboarding module, and just start building. Once you truly understand how data flows through these complex pipelines, the only limit is what you decide to engineer next. So, what kind of world-changing AI are you going to build? Thanks for hanging out with us for this explainer, and we will see you in class.